Most AI 3D tools are good for one thing, making models that look impressive for 5 seconds until you rotate them. Textures break, geometry collapses, logos melt into soup, and the second you try using them inside an actual workflow, everything falls apart. But Rodin Gen 2.5 might be the first AI 3D tool I've tested that actually feels built for real creators, not just demos. We're talking 10 million plus polygon meshes, generated in as little as 4 seconds. And honestly, that speed changes everything. So here's the challenge. Same prompt, different generation modes, different thinking times. Let's see what actually changes.
If you love discovering tools that make you think, wow, that was easy, you're in the right place. We test platforms, reveal hidden features, and teach you quick ways to boost your creativity, productivity, and your content game.
Right away, the interface is surprisingly clean. You've got image to 3D, text to 3D, editing tools, and all the generation controls sitting directly in front of you. And this is important because Rodin isn't trying to be just another click once and pray AI generator. It's designed more like a reasoning model for 3D. You can actually choose between 5 different generation modes: extreme low, low, medium, high, and extreme high. And the longer the model thinks, the better the geometry gets. So let's test that. I'm starting with a reference image of a highly detailed creature face, something with skin texture, folds, wrinkles, tiny details, the kind of thing AI usually struggles with. Now over here, you can choose between 5 generation modes: extreme low, low, medium, high, and extreme high. And this is where things get interesting, because each mode isn't just changing render quality, it's changing how much the model thinks before generating geometry. Extreme low takes around 4 seconds, medium is around 20, extreme high can go all the way up to 80 seconds. Now look at the comparison. The 4-second version already gives you a usable silhouette and overall form. But as the thinking time increases, you start seeing cleaner edge flow, better surface continuity, sharper facial definition, and dramatically more micro detail. By the time you reach extreme high, the geometry density becomes kind of insane. And instead of pretending every mode is perfect, Rodin actually treats them like different creative tools. So first, extreme low. And okay, for 4 seconds, this is honestly impressive. The silhouette is there. The proportions make sense. The overall form is usable. This feels perfect for quick ideation. Like if you're building props for a game environment, testing creature concepts, or exploring variations rapidly, this is insanely fast. Now let's jump to medium mode, generate. Immediately, you start noticing cleaner surfaces, better edge flow, more defined structure around the eyes and mouth, and fewer weird geometry artifacts. This is where it starts becoming genuinely production useful. And now, extreme high. Generate cinematic close-ups. And this is where things start getting kind of crazy. Look at the triangle density here. Rodin claims these generations can reach tens of millions of polygons. And honestly, looking at this mesh, I can believe it. You can literally see microstructure information forming across the surface. Tiny pores, layered wrinkles, sharper transitions around the nose and lips, and dramatically denser geometry throughout the model. Now, obviously, and this matters, this does not replace traditional sculpting. If you're a professional character artist working inside ZBrush every day, you'll still want cleanup, retopology, optimization, and artistic refinement. But as a starting point, this can save an absurd amount of time. And here's where it gets even more interesting. You don't just control quality, you control thinking effort. That changes the entire workflow because now AI generation adapts to what you're actually trying to do. Quick concepts, use 4-second mode. Hero assets, push extreme high. And for most everyday workflows, medium or high is probably the sweet spot. Now let's talk about the thing most AI 3D generators completely fail at: textures. This is where Rodin Gen 2.5 genuinely surprised me. I'm importing a reference image with logos, typography, sharp graphics, and difficult surface areas. Normally, this is where AI falls apart. You rotate the object and suddenly, the logo disappears, the text becomes unreadable, or the backside turns into texture spaghetti. But Rodin is using what they call a 3D native texture architecture, and whatever they're doing under the hood, it works shockingly well. Look at this. Rotate the model. The graphics stay readable. The textures wrap correctly. The hidden surfaces still contain information. And the material response feels much more physically believable, especially the PBR materials. Metal behaves like metal. Rubber looks like rubber. Plastic actually reflects correctly. That sounds small until you bring assets into Blender, Unreal, or Unity, because believable materials are what make AI assets usable instead of disposable. And this next feature is honestly one of my favorites, parallel batch generation. Instead of generating one model at a time, Rodin can generate up to 10 simultaneously. This is huge for concept exploration. Imagine you're designing game props, vehicles, creatures, stylized weapons, or environment assets. Instead of waiting and regenerating endlessly, you can instantly compare multiple directions side by side. That completely changes the iteration process. And here's the part most people overlook. Speed isn't just convenience. Speed changes creativity itself, because when iteration becomes instant, you experiment more, you test more ideas, you take more risks, you discover better designs faster. Now let's move into actual workflow testing, because pretty renders are one thing, usable assets are another. Export through DCC Bridge into Blender. I'm taking one of the generated models directly into Blender using Rodin's DCC Bridge workflow. And first thing, wireframe mode. This is important because topology quality is usually where AI generation completely falls apart. Now to be clear, Rodin isn't trying to replace professional artists or traditional workflows. It's a tool designed to increase efficiency, helping creators move from concept to usable assets much faster. And compared to most AI 3D generators, this is significantly cleaner. The edge flow is more stable, surface continuity is better, and the geometry feels far more manageable for cleanup and refinement. For concept workflows, prototyping, kit bashing, pre-visualization, or rapid asset creation, this is genuinely practical. And with the DCC Bridge workflow, moving assets directly into tools like Blender becomes much smoother for real production pipelines. Now let's test one more feature, local editing. This is honestly where Rodin starts feeling different from most AI tools. Instead of regenerating the entire model, you can target specific regions. So let's say I only want to change the helmet design. Select region. I can literally type replace with a futuristic combat visor with angular panels and glowing sidelights. Generate. And instead of destroying the whole model, Rodin integrates the change directly into the existing geometry. That's important because most AI systems struggle with consistency during edits. But here, the proportions stay coherent, the transition areas blend naturally, and the model still feels unified afterward. This is the kind of feature that can massively speed up iteration for game artists, indie studios, concept designers, 3D printing creators, and even YouTubers building assets for animations. And honestly, we're probably watching the early stage of a much bigger shift in 3D workflows, not replacement, acceleration. That's the key difference. AI still isn't replacing experienced artists, but tools like this dramatically reduce the time between idea and usable result. And for creators working under deadlines, that matters a lot, especially when you combine fast generation, high polygon detail, editable geometry, cleaner textures, and actual pipeline compatibility. That combination is what makes Rodin Gen 2.5 feel different from most AI 3D demos online. It's not just trying to impress you, it's trying to fit into real production workflows. And honestly, that's way more interesting. Rodin Gen 2.5 basically turns AI 3D generation into something that feels practical instead of experimental. And that's a massive shift for creators. If you want to try it yourself, I'll leave the link below. And if you want more deep dives into tools changing creative workflows, you already know what to do.